Hello everyone and welcome back to Abstract Medicine. I hope you're all doing well and you've had a beautiful week. Today, as you can see by the title, it's going to all be about a clearance, and it's an energetic clearing using the Shamanic Medicine Oracle cards and the Healing Reading cards. There's nothing that you need to do other than just relax, take care of yourself, maybe save this reading as well for future guidance. And if you want to take notes, of course, you can go ahead and pause the video and then come back with your journal. Make sure that you have something to drink, preferably something that is hydrating like water or carbonated water. And we will start this session. So you can sit down, you can lie down, you can just tune into the sound waves of my voice and use it as an ASMR playlist even. So let's go ahead with the healing. Angels, ancestors, guides. What is it that the clients today need to see, hear, receive for their shamanic healing today? Thank you so much. We have insects and support. Okay, so we have a message about you seeing, receiving messages from insects that are guiding you, that are supporting you along your journey at this time. I feel like it's more about you paying further attention into the minutiae, the details. I think this has also got something to do with cleaning, and not only clearing and cleaning your physical vessel, your temple, your body temple, but also your physical temple, your environment, your home, your studio, your room. You know, so I do see that this is something about transformation, and it involves clearing and cleaning, and that's something that really supports your clarity, supports your vision, I'm hearing, supports your, I just heard that a feeling of security and how you feel safe. Okay, so we'll go on, we'll continue. We have ancestors, so we have this beautiful message from the ancestors today saying that their wisdom is being imparted to you through your genetic bloodline. Okay, so sometimes ancestors may not necessarily be genetically connected to us. Ancestors could be connected to us through star systems, through planets, through other ways, other connections, maybe through soul groups, soul family, you know. And as I say that, there's this insect actually on my window, which I'll just go and try and pick up lightly if I can. Oh, it's gone. It fell, but it's a little fly. It's a tiny little fly, but it's not a house fly. It's like a, I can't describe it, but I feel like it's definitely meant to be part of this reading. If it shows up again and I'm able to pick it up then and show everyone, then great. But maybe this is also involving ancestors who are reincarnated into insects. You know, sometimes we don't always reincarnate as human beings, but I feel like your ancestors have some sort of wisdom that they're sharing through symbology involving the natural world, the natural system, animals, insects particularly. I feel like there's some sort of magic here that's being shared through very subtle ways. So sometimes your ancestors don't necessarily always share information, their wisdom, their sage advice, right, in ways that is very grand and like, here's a massive sign. Sometimes the signs are very, very subtle. So maybe this is through the dragonfly. So maybe you're seeing dragonflies lately. Dragonflies for me symbolize imagination. So maybe they're giving you advice and wisdom that is imparted through maybe their own even reincarnation into the dragonfly just for that second, just for that minute. So maybe they're reincarnated just for that minute, just for that second, for you to glimpse them and be aware of them, to have full awareness that they are there presented in your life at that very time. And then they're able to de-extract themselves from the relationship of the, let's say in this case, the dragonfly, once the message has been received by the viewer, which is you. So I've never seen it in that way myself, where an ancestor will just reincarnate for that millisecond, will have their soul inside the insect for that second, for your awareness, for the message to be received, and then their soul will be able to exit from that insect again after the message was received. That's so beautiful. So this could be a moment of reflection that you're seeing in nature. You know, you receive light codes, you receive messages, you receive wisdom from your ancestors about your imagination. Maybe this is about receiving a vision, receiving creative ideas when you see the dragonfly. If this resonates for you so far, please make sure to like this video, press the like button, consider subscribing to the channel where there's lots and lots of playlists including Divine Love. There's now rituals here with candle magic and so many beautiful playlists here. They're completely free of charge. If you like private sessions and private readings, private bookings with me, you know you can go ahead straight to my website, which is down in the description box. So I do see that there's also butterflies. So butterflies symbolize, and even moths, you know, butterflies signify daylight, the sun. They signify transformation. They signify a difficult journey from one way of being into the next. And it's very physically painful, transforming into that particular beautiful, resplendent insect, which is the butterfly, full of colours. And even though, oh, there it is. It's there. Can you see? Hello. Hi. See, there's the message. Look. It's hiding right now. It's actually a little beetle. So we have a beetle here. Now the scarab beetle, I'm going to let it hide over there. The scarab beetle is symbolic of Egypt. So the scarab beetle is symbolic of ancestors, but it's also symbolic of ascension into a higher state of being. This is the energy of God, godliness. This is the energy of kings and pharaohs and queens. And I do see that there's something very mighty about you. Now we're talking about mighty, and I'm seeing a might here as well in this particular card. Now this card for me, as your reader, is slightly perturbed by some of the insects in here, because, you know, it's creepy crawlies. Not all of us love insects, and I understand and appreciate that. So, but I will say that I feel like if you're uncomfortable with certain insects, it's because there's something that needs to be cleared out. You know, you may actually need to clean your home. Like for myself, today is my cleaning day, and I'm going to embark on that journey today, even though I don't like doing cleaning. Even though I am kind of a clean freak, I don't like the act of cleaning unless I've got some music going on and I just dedicate, okay, I've got 1 hour to clean, vacuum, and then clean all the surfaces, and I feel so much better. And you do feel so much better, don't you, once you've cleaned the energy, you've cleaned everything. Maybe you can involve some vinegar after you vacuumed, for example, in order to really disinfect the house, disinfect the floors, but also get rid of negative, low vibrational energy is a very good way to do clearing of the physical space. It's you know, there's the message. The message in the messenger has been received, and it's going off towards the window now, towards the light. So I do see that there is something of importance here where there's a message to sometimes get uncomfortable in order to feel comfortable. So maybe for some of you, this could be your ancestors helping you to gain more strength and courage if you are phobic of certain insects. Yeah, so there could be a message there for you. And I was also talking about the moth. So the moth is an insect for symbolically connected to the evening, to the night, to the moon. So there's quiet transformation of the subconscious state during the moon phases for some of you as well. This could also be, what is it that is changing in your subconscious? What is it that your spirit guides, your messengers, your ancestors want to impart to you if you see a moth, which is a night being? You know, are they attracted to your light source? Are you the light source that is going to attract maybe fans, or maybe an audience or public through digital platforms? So this could be a moth to a flame situation where there's this two-sided message where you may need to heed the advice of this moth that says, okay, just be careful not to be blinded by the light. You know, let's not get too egoic here. Maybe this could also be, okay, you're just about to embark on stage, and so are you subconsciously prepared for that? You know, are you ready for it? Are you psychologically ready for that shift, ready for that change, ready for that transformation from subconscious to conscious state? Maybe subconsciously you've always wanted to be well known and seen, and now you're going to get exactly that. And so spirit, your ancestors are preparing you subconsciously into the conscious state so that you are ready when the opportunity comes, and you are thrust on stage and into the light. I also see black elk here. I see Gandhi. I see a painting, La Gioconda, or a painting of Leonardo da Vinci's women, and there's something in the eyes here. It's something to do with the eyes. These are wise people, wise men, wise women, and you know, for example, let's say if you've always resonated with Nelson Mandela, for example, maybe his speeches. You know, let's not get too conspiratorial, because some people say there's a Mandela effect, and some people say, well, that's not actually the real Mandela, it was someone else that looked like him. And, you know, so let's just, maybe it was a bad example, but it's the idea of, okay, you're really drawn to this person, this ideology of this person even, and it's because you're connected to that. You're connected to that ideology. You're connected to that person. You're connected to that soul because you're part of their soul group. You know, our ancestors can actually be people who are from our soul group. So, say for example, for me, in my soul group, I have many, and which is to be expected with the work that I do and who I am in my coding. But I'll give you an example. One of in my soul group is Black Elk, and then I have another soul group which is David Bowie. You know, so I think that there's something where you may be drawn to certain music and a particular musician, and they really resonate with you, and it's because you have something that is similar to them, and or a talent or a gift or a way of being, a mannerism that is actually very tied to who you are. Maybe people have said to you, wow, you really look like so and so, or you really remind me of so and so, and it's, well, maybe it's because you have, say for example, in Vedic astrology, which is part of Ayurveda, which is the medicine of life, we can look at the physiognomy of a person and directly connect it to their astrology in Vedic astrology. So when you have a particular separated eyes, you're part of this particular astrology. So for example, Pisces tend to have a particular kind of eye shape, and it's directly connected to the sign of Pisces and Neptune and Jupiter, and the daughters of, or the offspring of, Jupiter and Neptune. Okay, so there's something in that, the body shape, Ayurveda is really interesting because you can heal through, just like in Chinese medicine, with these ancient practices, these ancient philosophies. I call them philosophies because they're not religions, but these ancient medicines, these ancient teachings, you can heal someone just by looking at them, not just through their auric understanding and awareness, but you can actually just look at their nose shape, their eye shape, how their ears are set, their neck, the coloration of their skin, no matter what provenance they are from. These medicine doctors can directly correlate it with numerology and astrology, and it is a sacred, mystical, and ancient practice. And I feel like for some of you, you have that gift, and it's a question of focusing on it, training yourself on it, getting educated on it, and really perfecting it. And then you yourselves becoming a medicine doctor in that specific, or medicine queen, I'm hearing, in that specific arena. This could also involve botany. Now, I know some of you are in Abstract Medicine Collective. You are interested in the medicine of plants. You're able to speak, sing, and listen and receive information through plants. They talk back to you. Some of you have the gift of being able to speak to animals. You may be an animal whisperer, and this isn't just some random event that's taking place. You know deep down, subconsciously, that you have a connection because it's been sent down to you. It's been imparted to you through your ancestors, whether it's your soul group or your genetic bloodline. Beautiful messages that are coming through. And the last card here from the Shamanic Medicine cards is Sacred Sites. So these practices, these gifts, these talents, or even the messages can come in really, really strong subconsciously, or even in the dream space, or consciously, particularly around sacred sites. Now, we know that there are ley lines that can really help bring us into that vortex, in between worlds even. And so I do see that some of you have great purpose, great divine direction that is being orchestrated and supported through insects, through nature, through some sort of clearing in this particular session, in this particular reading today, to help you to navigate, to confirm or affirm what you already know, which is that you have support from your ancestors, that you have divine gifts that are the further divine gifts that are needing, wanting, desiring to be activated, maybe even through sacred sites, sacred locations, sacred places, and even the focused attention of meditating, or even today's session can assist you into tapping into receiving further information from your ancestors, as this is a sacred site in itself. This shrine is a sacred site for that message to be received. So definitely claim it down in the comments if this resonates for you. If you like to put a dragonfly in the comments, or a butterfly, you can go ahead and do that. Now, with the spider here, this is a message of creativity. We've got the insect over there, by the way. There's a beetle. Hello. It's done its rounds. It's gone through the table, and it's back here now. Interestingly, it's just walking. So I feel like it is actually consecrating the site. It's this site here is being consecrated by this beautiful little insect here, this beetle. So I see here that you have a different way of seeing, different way of thinking. You think outside of the box. You have an unusual perception of reality and space and time. And so I see that a sacred site physically may not necessarily be disposable, available for you right now, but you can visit the sacred site by creating a shrine for your ancestors. And you energetically are able to be transported straight to that sacred site. So some of you, those sacred sites may involve rocks, may involve trees, may involve a particular shape of crystal, maybe a particular crystal grid or grid making that you can do yourself, much like today, that I've created here for all of you, where there's different elements here. I've got frankincense, there's also sand, there's this is sacred earth from Jerusalem here, and I've also got sacred water and sacred oil. So I've got different elements here. Maybe this is something that you yourselves could do. And these actually were given to me by my mum, who, I don't know where she got them actually, but they were sent. I've just had them for so long, I don't know where they've come from, other than they came from my mum as a gift. The other thing I wanted to mention is that if you are women and if you're listening to this particular session, this reading, you have natural psychic and spiritual gifts. It's because your bloodline connected to all of the women in your life, all of the women in your bloodline also had the gift, and it's called mitochondrial DNA. And the mitochondrial DNA is different from the DNA that comes from the paternal line. The mitochondrial DNA is incredibly psychic and open, and is a natural high priestess awareness. So that was already activated from way, way, way back in your maternal line, I'm hearing. So there is no doubt, as confirmation here, that the mothers in your line were healers themselves. I'm just going to have a swig of my tea, and maybe you yourselves also want to have a refreshment. Let's have a look now at the mystical healing cards, please, Spirit. Thank you. Okay, so we've got two cards straight out of the bat. So we have number 24, which may be significant. This could be a significant number, significant date, a significant door number. This may even be part of your car registration plate. I don't know, maybe your favourite number. Number 6 could also be significant too, which I'll talk about in a minute. But excuse me, I do see that here it says recognize divine timing. So you know that there's something here, and it's 22 now on the time there. You know that there's something that is involving divine timing. And with this card, we have this lady who is in between worlds. She's stepping from one way of being or existence into another new way of being in existence. So remember how we spoke about courage and strength. I'm hearing audacity. Someone's saying audacity, and it's not your ancestors, it's the criticism that people are saying around you, that look at her, the audacity that she has. And it's because of jealousy, it's because of an unhealed clearance that they themselves have done, or rather they haven't done. And I do see that when you're someone who is willing to, what's the phrase, lay caution to the wind, it's when there's envy, it's because actually there's a hidden fan there. There's a hidden admirer there. There's hidden admiration for something that you have done, or you're just about to leap into this new chapter, this new way of being. Remember we spoke about the butterfly, this new transformative, even imaginative, even creative way of being that comes so naturally to you, that they themselves also have the potential to have experience B, but they're too chicken scared to do it. So they go to sending black magic, which is, you know, spitting insults at you, or even energetically talking behind your back and saying horrible things. Now this could be people in your own direct bloodline. These could be, you know, in your family. This could be people in your old friendship groups, or people that you work with. You know, for some of you, I see that you work in a corporate job, but you have this very natural psychic awareness, and understanding and appreciation for other people's energies. This is something that I picked up on yesterday. I was on the tube, and there were 3 people in front of me, and I call myself a shaman in disguise. So I don't wear the, you know, the royal garb, which is of, you know, the high priestess or the shaman, the shamanka. I don't, you know, I have the sacred jewelry, like the hand of Fatima, hidden away. You know, I've got my tattoos, my tatau, hidden away, unless it's very hot. That kind of gives some sort of signaling to what I'm interested in, but no one would ever know that I could read people's energies on the tube. And what I noticed is that yesterday, what I was picking up on, directly opposite me, there were 3 women in front of me, and in between there was a man right in front, and I could pick up that 2 of the women were pretending that they weren't aware spiritually, that, sorry, they were showing that they weren't acknowledging the energy of the whole tube carriage. So they were natural psychics. I could tell, I could see, I could experience that they had the gift of foresight. They had the gift of seeing beyond just the physical vessel. So these were people that most likely were able to, it's exactly what we said earlier, read people's faces. You know, there's a real gift in that. There's a real art, there's a sacred art to it. It's a sacred science, really. They could read people's aura, they could read people's energies, they could decipher what kind of traumas these people had, you know. And so what they did is that they, in order to protect themselves from being seen, which I will say for a lot of you also do, is because it's connected to the witch hunt trials, the persecution that all of us had experienced in other incarnations, where we may have had to shapeshift. You know, we may have had to shapeshift into an insect or into an animal to hide, to cloak ourselves for not being seen and then being persecuted. And that may be something that, with the all moths to a flame idea, so all moths to a flame idea, can be very scary for some of us. So in this life, we may be sabotaging our own success, our own visibility. And you can have both. You know, I have both. I'm able to have a public facing life, but also have a private life. And that's very important to me. Has it been easy to really excel in it or to define it? No, it hasn't. It's taken a lot of trials and difficulties and time and experience in order to really finesse it to a point where, okay, now I know how to manage it through the grace of God and through the wisdom from my ancestors. And you yourselves are able to do that too. So in the case of the tube, with these women, they were able to cloak themselves, hide from being read psychically, but I was able to read their energy, and I was able to see that this was what was going on, that they didn't want to be seen for really who they were. I mean, if you think about all of the tarot readings, just say for example in the UK or in Italy, you know, that are online, or just even in the world, just tarot, just specifically tarot, it's amazing how many there are. And in the world out there, you would never know who they are. Really, you wouldn't know who they are, because they're just your general Joe, Dave, Dick and Harry. You know, they wear normal clothes. They don't, and I think that's kind of the way it is, and it should be, in my opinion. I think it should be normalized that we all have, and we do all have, psychic gifts. It's let's not make a big hoo-ha about it. There's something very charlatan-esque when we're being presented with an idea of a medicine man or a medicine woman looking a certain way with certain costume. And it's not about the costume, it's about the actual gift and the healing that really takes place, which is actually the medicine, which is the abstract medicine. It's abstract, you can't see it, but you remove it. You remove the poison and you turn it into medicine, and it should be seamless. It should be a seamless act. Of course, there gets to be an energy exchange through gratitude, through gift giving, through tobacco exchange, through money exchange, because money is currency, through payment, and there should be nothing wrong with that. But it should be a seamless, graceful act. And I think that a lot of you are transitioning into that. And I think that when that happens, especially when you're being seen more public facing, or even being seen as someone who's just living their authentic life, you have your divine gift, but you are also recognizing that there is divine timing as to when that is shown and shared and experienced publicly. There's something really magical about that. I do see that you've really gained your wings, and maybe it's because of the age of Aquarius that we're living in now, which is an age of authenticity. It's an age of truth. It's an age of unapologetic truth and support of humanity. Now, with number 6 here, 24 being a 6, it's about Venus, it's about the mother, it's about women, it's about the goddess. So a lot of you are working with the goddess, and you're becoming the goddess innate within you as you keep clearing and working within your own right to live authentically as you. And today's session is about empowering that today, recognizing that. With Namaste, it's the light in me recognizes and respects the light in you. I'm not looking at your physical vessel. Your physical vessel may be absolutely stunning, really beautiful. And most of you are really beautiful because you do the internal work. Beauty really is not only the eye of the beholder, but is gained as a spiritual gift in itself through the work that you do internally. The reason why you look younger than your age is because you have transformed, you have transmuted, and you continue to turn that pain into medicine. That's why you don't look bitter. That's why you don't have lots of lines across your face. That's why you don't have, the anger lines in between your eyes, just above your third eye. Because you don't live a life of anger all the time. Anger is important, don't get me wrong. Anger is very, very necessary, particularly for women. It's very necessary, it's very important. So to turn that anger into medicine, to turn that anger into joy, to turn that anger into healing for others, and an act of service is very important. And I think that personally, in my opinion, what the youngsters are doing wrong by injecting themselves with all this toxin in their face is denying themselves. They're basically spiritually bypassing the true beauty from within in order for it to be expressed without. Now, it's 33 on the timer as I look. So some of you have truly connected with the matriarchal line in your lineage. You're also connected to the goddess. Now, the goddess can be Mother Mary, La Madonna, the Virgin Mary, otherwise known as Miriam in Islam. Or also, by the way, happy Eid Mubarak to my Muslim friends. I also see that you are connected to, for some of you, could be connected to, I'm hearing others now, but I'll tell you in a minute. To Kuan Yin or Green Tara. You could also be connected to, I'm hearing Krishna. Now, Krishna is not the avatar, well, I guess in a way an avatar also of Christ, of Cristo, of Jesus. Same storyline. Same prophet. Same gerundive linguistic lineage. Krishna, Christ, O. Cristallina, Christopher, Christina. Like, it's every, you know, people that have the Kri in their name are directly connected in the soul group of Christ and Krishna. It's all the same. It's just different iterations of it, different evolutions of it, different reincarnations of it. And that's 33, by the way. 33 is Christ consciousness. And we are in the Christ consciousness awakening. This is not about religion. You know that, I know that. But do people out there know that? So now, as I'm about to conclude, because someone started the lawnmower, I see that you have also broken the addiction of playing small. You've broken the addiction of, okay, I'm just gonna put myself in this very small container, and I'm gonna cheat myself and pretend that I'm going to be very happy and content with this decision, when clearly you haven't been. And I feel like a lot of you have really risen like a phoenix here. You've recently gone through a major ego death. For a lot of you, you are loners, and that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being alone. There's nothing wrong of being asked and even judged for spending most of your time alone. A lot of us that walk this path for higher healing and higher I just heard spiritual contentment is a path that is walked alone. Because there is an inequality of energetic matching here. But you will find the tribe soon. For a lot of you, you're in the stage of becoming and connecting into those groups that are your soul family, in physical and in this lifetime, I just will say. And it's going to be soon. I just want to say it's not going to be like in 10 years time. It's going to be very soon. I would say for a lot of you between the next 3 years, between now and the next 2-3 years. So I see that you've broken the addiction. Number 5 here is talking about great change, great shifts. But it's also the marriage of you integrating the masculine and the feminine energies. You have broken the spell of the matrix itself. Now, the matrix is the chessboard here. Can you see the Masonic black and white chessboard? You are above and over that chessboard. You've broken the spell of the matrix. So you know how to, as I said, you remember how I spoke about, because as a healer, we talk in metaphors, in parables, like prophets do still today. The tube and being able to see psychically, but by also, you know, having a handbag and a shopping bag from Nike. Like you can have both. You can have a public life and also a very private, sacred life, and still be spiritual. So I see here that here you have broken the spell and you're still being authentic to you. You're not really playing a game because you are the game. I'll say that again. You're not playing the game because you are the game. Now, I do see that there's something very important that's going to be happening for you in Easter time. And I would love to see what happens around that time with another transmission that I'll be sharing here on YouTube, where you're breaking open. And you're breaking open to a new way of being, but it's not just a new way of being that doesn't feel familiar to you, and or that you have to break open every single year, every single time. No, this is it now. This is it. And for a lot of you who are wondering and are scared and, you know, unsure, especially with this courageous act of you moving from one state into another state, for some of you this could also involve moving from state to state. I do see that you are in slight trepidation because you're scared that you're going to experience those horrible things again. And I'm here to say that you're not. From what I can feel and from what I can sense from you, you have done the internal work. And I see that a lot of you, you're not going to go back to what you've experienced before. So this really is it now. And this was all part of the divine timing. And so Spirit is wanting you to recognize that maybe you didn't receive those accolades at the time that you wanted to. Maybe you weren't ready for that full transformation of who you are actually meant to be, which is your highest version of yourself, until this very point between now and Ishtar, Easter time. It's your spring as well. So we have minimized guilt. And so what happens is we have 22 here. You see that? What happens is that when we find success, experience recognition, there are going to be people that are still going to continue to be very jealous, very judgmental, and you yourselves will feel like you're leaving people behind. And when that experience is experienced, there can be a form of guilt. Now, it's not up for you to save everyone. It's not up for you to save anyone. It's for you to show up. Your purpose is to show up as the best version of who you are. That's it. And so I do see that in your next chapter, you will be minimizing the guilt by letting people go, because it's up to other people's free will, their choice for themselves to change and do the internal work. But I do see that with these blind folds, you are pulled and driven by blind faith. And that blind faith in God, in spirit, in your ancestors, God with the big G, okay, is the very thing that leads you to the Garden of Wisdom. Now I'm hearing enigma, the Garden of Wisdom. The Garden of Wisdom is otherwise known as Eden, or paradise before it fell. Okay. There's another thing I want to say. There's nothing wrong with knowing things, with learning things, with wanting to research, to wanting to understand more, wanting to understand and appreciate other people's faiths, other people's trajectories, even to investigate, to ask, to prod, to read, to research, to whatever it is. There's nothing wrong with that. You're different from other family members because you have that. And it's because a lot of you are scholars here in this lifetime, but because you've always been scholars in other lifetimes. You are observing and experiencing and researching and investigating humanity and the existence of what it is to be in that. And I just want to end with the word humanity the word human is actually a derogatory term that actually means monster. So let's start to reshape that word and actually just go back to people, personas, gente, rather than that matrix of being seen as a monster. We are not monsters. Not all of us are monsters. In fact, many of us are earth angels here incarnate. And so I'm offering this beautiful reading and session and healing for clearance today, to see again and to show again that the light in me recognizes the light in you. And I know and I understand that it's a very dense, difficult world that we live in, and it can be very isolating. But I see that you are transforming along, you're guiding along, you're gaining wisdom along the way of this life, of this journey, and you keep moving forward and you keep rising and ascending no matter what. No matter what has tried to break you, no matter what has tried to test your patience in, whom have tried to test your patience even. And I see that you are sacred. You are very medicine. You're very medicine inclined. You're very connected to the medicine women in your line, particularly. So the mitochondrial DNA is incredibly activated at this time. For many who have seen you over and over again go through major transformations in your life, from death to rebirth. This is your time now to show the goods, to show your light, to be in sacred ceremony, with those who are in kind and kind to you. And for those who are not, you still shine bright. Thanking your ancestors today, thanking God today, thanking the Holy Ghost today. Thanking you for all of your interactions today, energetically and even in the comments. I appreciate you, I love you, and thank you so much. I'm wishing you a beautiful day. Enjoy. Bye for now.